Some of these Doom Tower bosses are tricky. Today we are gonna go ahead and talk about Dark Fae as I attempt to beat it. Hey you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. With Doom Tower today, we are trying to take on Dark Fae and seeing what champs I actually need to bring along to get this team to work. So for the strat for her, she does create clones, and essentially we want to be able to kill those clones first and then go ahead and kill her. So there's definitely a few champs that you want to bring along in here, and some that I've actually got on my account based on, I guess, what other people are using and suggestions. So we're going to go in with those ones. So starting off, we want somebody who is going to be able to do some nuking. So we're going to bring Whisper along. Next, I do want to bring in Cold Heart. And part of that is because we want to be able to decrease the turn meter. So she is going to be great for that. Some people were suggesting to bring Geomancer as well, which is someone we can bring along. But I don't know if I want to bring him along or if I want to bring my Royal Guard along. So either way, like, could work. But I think I'm going to try the Royal Guard approach with these three. And then we'll do my tried and true Cece. And we will also bring along He-Man, have some AoE damage in there. So this way we kind of have all bases covered. But I think we just need to go with a resistance lead in this case. So this is the team that I am going to try out and see how they do. Definitely a few different approaches that we can use with this. But as I said, this is the approach that I'm going to try to use and essentially see how it goes. Now, I'm terrible because I always want to auto everything, and that doesn't always work. So for now, maybe I'll let them auto until we actually get to her, and then we'll go ahead and take the auto off. But I want to save some skills, so we also want to be careful with which skills will be on cooldown, which ones won't. And like eventually, I'm sure I can make it work and do a full auto, but in this case, like I said, we want to be a bit careful. 4-turn cooldown, so this will be okay. Okay, so now we'll start killing these guys, making sure that I get my skills onto cooldown. Nice sleep. Okay, perfect. Cooldown, cooldown. Cooldown. I think Royal Guard should be okay. Okay, so now we are at Dark Fae, and again, we want to take these clones down. They're cloning the team, so we want to make sure that we're actually able to go ahead and kill these guys. So let's go ahead and start here. This is where the AoE would come in handy. And the trick is, like, you want to make sure that you're bringing champs along that you can also actually defeat, which makes sense. There you go. Nice strong AoE, which is necessary. We'll get the Cece out because she's a reviver. Kill her. No. 4 times at random. My own Cece. There you go. There you go. So weak. I'll get my revive back up soon. May as well do a boost here. There you go. Okay. We're all up and running. So now the goal, of course, is to try to actually nuke her down. Third skill. So this is where Cold Heart's going to come in because we do want to decrease that turn meter. We don't want her to move if we can avoid it, essentially. Do some nuking down in here. Maybe I should have brought more turn control along with me, but not getting the debuffs I'm looking for here. No, she's going to move. 4 times at random. There you go. Yeah! I did it! Better than I thought, but this team definitely worked. So I'm glad. I thought I might have had to like redo it and change things around, but essentially the strat worked. So bringing along Cold Heart was great. Royal Guard was good. I probably could have swapped him out for somebody else, to be honest. I don't know, his role was what I needed him to do. I definitely had enough damage between my Whisper, my He-Man to do some of that nuking in there, but potentially more turn meter control, especially on the higher up floors. would have helped, but regardless, got it done. Super excited because it's another step. Last time I got stuck on her, and I understand she is on 40 this time, but still, like, understanding the mechanics of the bosses and how to overcome them, it definitely helps. So maybe this will be the time that I'm able to beat Doom Tower. I haven't yet been able to fully beat all the floors, and as I said, I try to auto everything, so as soon as I get stuck in trying to auto, I'm like, can I do something else? But this time, it definitely managed to work. Kind of ironic, my own Cece almost took me down there. But she was arguably one of my stronger, my better gear champs, because with Dark Fae, of course, the clones, they mimic everything. So something to keep in mind. You don't want to bring in people who are too tanky to this point that even you trying to take them down becomes a little bit difficult. But in the end, it ended up working. I know I mentioned I wasn't sure if I liked Royal Guard in there, but I realized that he actually was super handy because he has the skill to actually decrease speed, placing that debuff, and also reducing the turn meter. So having Royal Guard in there with Cold Heart, I think was key, but looking at other potential champs you can bring in, there's a few I haven't built yet, but some that I've been considering building, and I think some that I might potentially need to build. Just simply because I know they're used in so many places of the game. So maybe we'll go ahead and actually take a look at that. Let's talk about the strat for Dark Fae. So 2 things you want to bring into battle or consider, of course, your turn meter control and your damage output. So for turn meter control, again, the champs that I brought along and some others that you can potentially bring and use. So I brought Royal Guard as one of them. And as I said, good champ because of this one. You attack 4 times at random, 60% chance of decreasing the speed debuff, and also a 60% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 25%. So we do get some turn meter control out of this champion. You have a decreased defense as well, and then you have the AoE, so you also get a bit of that damage output in there with that second skill. If we are looking at some of the other easier options, Cold Heart is one that I brought along. Great champion, rare, so easy to build. Right here, decrease the target's turn meter by 100%, and then that chance of inflicting a critical hit. So bit of damage you can do out of there with this champ. Decrease of accuracy, poison, heal reduction, kind of on your way there, which will also be helpful. As I said kind of early, I briefly touched on it. Another option to bring in there is also Geomancer. Now, Geomancer is a great one as well. Fully depletes the turn meter, fills this champ by the amount that they actually lose in there. He's got his passive in there with a Stone Guard, which is nice, as well as removing buffs from the target enemy and attacking them. So he could have also been a good choice for me. It's just that based on the team I was already bringing, I didn't need to bring him, I guess, in that way. However, Geomancer is a great champion. Honestly, if the team that I was bringing initially didn't work, I would have just brought him along. Now, another good one, and as I said, one that I personally do not have built yet, but Allure. Allure is a really good one if you've got her. One of the main reasons people do build her is specifically for Dark Fae. And again, that's your first skill. You attack 3 times at random, decrease the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. So you want to make sure you build her on crit, but again, that's a skill 1 that you get that out. So very helpful champ. You also have attacking all enemies twice, decrease of a defense, a sleep debuff. Again, if you're kind of on the way there, the wave comes there. And then attack an enemy, you have a chance of inflicting a critical hit and ignore 50% of the target's defense. So you get the turn meter control out of her, but you also get the attack aspect. So when it comes to these champions that have turn meter control, those are the ones that I like I said, I would build. If you've got some of the other legendaries, there are some amazing legendaries that you can, of course, bring along. But in terms of like looking at a rare or potential epic, those are the ones that I think make sense to actually build. And if you don't have a ton of champions, hopefully you at least have some of the ones that I mentioned there. If you don't really want to go straight the turn meter approach, you can also do either the nuking approach or doing some of the AoE damage just to really kill as fast as you can. But again, you're going to want to kill her before she can move too much, and otherwise you're going to kind of get stuck in that cycle and things aren't necessarily going to go your way with it. So one of the options that I thought about, and I kind of just, because obviously there's different strategies that you can actually use. So one of the things I considered before I went in there is doing the approach and actually using Hegemon. And part of the reason for that is the skills itself has this passive where you always go first. So this would allow you to really go head to head. Going first in there gives you that initial control on it, which is nice. And then I can go in with this skill, attacking everyone, decreasing the attack, blocking active skills as well, potentially. First skill, you do have the decreased speed. So this was a champ that I considered taking along with me into that battle, because as I said, there's other strategies if you've got the legendaries, but I do think the turn meter control in this case worked the best for me. Obviously, when she is on like a higher up, harder floor, I can really put that to the test. But overall, I'm happy with who I brought along in. As I said, I also brought in the damage, so you guys did see the damage output I had in there. Few different champs that I brought along for the damage output, and one of my favorite champs, I've made a video on her before, talked about her before, but one that I use in a lot of places is actually Whisper. And Whisper is great because of the weekend she's got here. You've got the increased attack buff, increased crit rate buff on this champ as well, and ignoring defense if they're under weaken in there. Also potential to grant an extra turn, and then of course the passive. So she is definitely one of my clutch ones that I do use in a lot of different places, but even for something like Dark Fae, she came in handy. If you download Raid Shadow Legends using my link, I'm actually going to start you off with the free legendary champion on day 1, and then at level 10, level 20, and level 30, you'll get yourself an epic. That is 4 amazing champions that you can get just by downloading using my link. You guys saw the strategy that I ended up using, and as I said, I will try this team again out later on when the rotation makes sense and she's higher up there on the floor. But I want you guys comment down below and let me know what team, what strat do you use for Dark Fae, and be sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, as I am putting a video out a day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!